Hey everyone, Egman here with another video. Today I've got the Magnificent Collection Broly deck. I looked at the Gogeta one I released on Monday and I realized like, oh, I pretty much it's really is really close to like what the Star deck was in terms of cards, and I just add a couple things. So I decided just to do this for Broly. I don't think this one is technically as good, but I think there's an idea here, and if someone wants to try it out, I think it's going to be worth it. But before we get into it, I do want to say I am going to be covering Set 8 stuff. I just haven't yet. I really wanted to get over these Magnificent Collection stuff before we went into it. So next week we're gonna start diving into Set 8 finally. So sorry about the wait on that, but I just want Nationals to be over before covering it. And two, once again, if you guys want either of these Magnificent Collection starter decks, booster starters, whatever they're called, if you click the links in the description below, there'll be a link to the TCG player site for it for people who didn't pre-order and aren't going to Nationals. And you can pick it up there, and if you do, I get a percentage back to that. So if you're buying it anyways, I'd appreciate it, and it'd help me out a lot. But without selling out, let's go into the actual video. So pretty much through this, the idea for this is I wanted to use the 6-drop Broly. That's pretty much it. This yellow Broly leader is just, compared to like the blue Gogeta leader, is just way more viable. It just has a lot of flexibility, and it's in itself it's just a really strong leader with it's yellow, which is usually pretty good, and it has Frieza's army, so you can use Cold Bloodlust. You can only use one, of course, but it has a lot of good traits on it, and so and just honestly, it has self weight. Like it's too good. I'm gonna say I think this is overtuned for leader, and it's why it's been so successful. It's just anything that needs like a really strong yellow leader, we go to Broly, kind of like how Huragarn was last year, and still pretty much right now. If you need a strong blue leader, he's really viable for that. So, but I feel like the archetype that he was given was kind of weak, and so that's how they try to balance it out. Like, oh, the yellow Broly BR archetype is kind of weak, and so that's why the leader's so powerful. But then people are like, oh, but we can just use other things with this leader, and that are better. And so that's pretty much what's been happening. But with the little bit of support they got here, I want to try it out. Once again, disclaimer: I don't know how good this deck is. I'm just throwing it together just as an idea. But I think there's something there. So this is more kind of like a mid-range pressure deck. It's not really as much of an aggressive deck as it is more of just like a reaction deck. You're just able to pressure down your opponent. You're able to make some strong plays, and then you're able to have like a really explosive end to the game. So cards going through. So it's yellow green. Let's talk about maybe. Actually, I'm going to talk about this one drop here. So we're just going to keep going down. So when you play this card from your hand, drop here, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and a cost of 1 and KO it. This is actually just in itself a really strong effect. People love playing one drops. So just being able to KO one for pretty much free is fantastic. And then also activate for 1 yellow. If your leader card is a Broly BR card and you return this card to its owner's hand, which is strictly better than send it to the drop area. Choose up to 1 Broly BR card with the original energy cost of 4 in your hand. Negate its card's auto skill for duration in the turn and play it. So you just put this back in your hand, and then for 1 yellow you're able to play 4 cost. So 2 energy to get out of 4 cost is pretty good, especially since this card comes back to your hand, and also you can, KO something worth 1. So a lot of synergy with this card. It's kind of weird that it's green, and it's kind of like it doesn't know, like it's a green Broly BR, but it's specifically for this yellow one. I think it's a weird mismatch, but I guess it works specifically for this case here. So the things that this is supposed to hit is either we'll go to Broly Paralyzing Presence. So this is kind of like his the yellow Broly BR archetype. So it has a permanent: if the total number of cards in rest mode between you and your opponents is 3 or more, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. So it's not actually too hard to get this out for 2 anyways, but it's still a fine card to get out. And also activate once per turn, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and that card can't be switched to active mode until the end of your opponent's next turn. So really good for kind of freezing your opponent's battle cards. It's not, I'm not going to say this is fantastic or anything, like even for 4 costs this is trash, but as a 2-drop, and pretty much I think they made this permanent, so you can't Child's Wish or anything like that. You can get around that, but still an alright card, and it's kind of the card it evolves into. That's kind of good there. So there's that, and we also are just running Broly Rushing Forth. So don't be fooled, and I hope I'm not getting comments of people saying like, oh, the green Broly BR only works with the green Broly BR. leader, and it only goes into a green Broly BR of energy cost 7. You can't go to the 4-drop into the 7-drop. I know that. I'm not. I can't read half the time, but this is one of the times I can actually read. So it's all it is it's just a 20k critical body that is for 2 energy. I know it's not really exciting, but I think it's like probably like the minimal amount of like value play you get there. You can just plop this down. If you're playing against like a slower leader like Shenron Ramp or something like that, you just put this down. It's 20k crit that's coming to your opponents every turn. Not the best, not flashy, but not the worst too. It can really do some damage, and also if we give it double strike, then it's 2 damage crit is fantastic. So that's that. Nothing super fancy, but that's what the card is. So. And then we also have 3 Wailing Spirit. I don't know if I like this card too much, but active main, choose up to 1 Broly BR card with energy cost of 4 from your deck negates. Auto skill for duration of the turn, and play it, and then shuffle your deck. So you just pretty much play this card, and then you get out one of these 2 here. So it's not. I think this card could be better in let's see, like the Paragus deck. I think that would be a better use of this, but I think this is okay. As it is, and there we go. So you just play Wailing Spirit, and then you go into either of these 4 drops. So same kind of thing. It's 2 energy. It's just not on a 1-drop battle card, and instead of from hand, it's from your deck. So there's that. Nothing fancy. And then we've got the 7-drop Broly. So this goes on top of a yellow 4-drop Broly BR. So really only this 4-drop we have here. So auto, when you play this card, you can only activate skills on cards that are green or yellow and no other color for duration of the turn. So that pretty much just means you can't use double strike, which is fine. And then activate once per turn, choose 1 card in your hand, place in your drop area, choose up to 1 of your opponent's cards in rest mode, and that card can't be switched to active mode until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this is actually really good, especially if we get it out on turn 3 by turn 2 getting out the 4-drop, and then turn 3 getting this guy out. We're able to just stun one of your opponent's energy for a turn for dropping 1 card, which we should be getting a lot of cards in our hand, and just it's just almost as good as like pitching 1 card to destroy one of your opponent's energy per turn. As long as it's in rest mode, as long as they don't played something last turn, they have all their energy not untapped, then this can get some value here. Making your opponent have to play with 1 less energy can be really good, and just really awaken you, get you to your next turn and really go off on them. So good card there. I like it. It's kind of I don't know. I've used this card forever. I use this in my Chile deck, and it did the same thing, just buying you an extra turn when you need it. And there we go. So 7-drop Broly, not too bad. I like it a lot. You can even run him at 4 if you want. I don't think that's crazy, especially because it's only a 5k combo. Even though it's a 7-drop, it's a 5k combo. I think that's fine too. So if you really like this combo, go for it. And I think maybe you should do 4. I'm gonna say you go on to do 4. But and then we'll also have the Super Saiyan Broly All Out Assault. This is the new arrival for 1 yellow, 1 green. When you play this card, or when this card is switched to active mode by a skill during your turn, choose 1. So you choose 1 battle card with any cost greater than or equal to your opponent's current energy and KO it. So just being able to pop this during the combo phase and pop one of your opponent's cards is already a fantastic effect. But also, you can also choose to draw 1 card, then choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards, or just cards in general, and switch to rest mode. So you're also able to just play this, and then you switch one of their energy to rest mode, and then they if they only had 1 open, then you're free to go and all that kind of stuff. So it's really good for kind of clenching the win and being obnoxious. So running 4 of these, two energy to play it is maybe a little bit steep, but I think this deck is more reactive than other Broly BR decks, so I think it's fine. I think having 2 energy open at most times is what the idea for this deck is anyways, so I think it's fine. Next up, what else do we want to look at? So we're playing the new Paragus. This makes sense just because it's a free card. So how this card can work is that you combo with it. You combo with the green card, then you use Arrival for Broly, and then if you over combo to do it, you can just play this effect, put in your drop area, and draw 1 card. So you only really lost 1 card to get this, this double color Rival out. So that's really the only thing. I wish this card was more. I wish this wasn't just for yellow Broly BR. It seems super specific for just this deck, and so it's really pushing just this 1 archetype, honestly, which kind of sucks, but it's a good card. So there's that. 3 surprise attack freezes because it's a 15k crit, and we can pressure our opponent, and we can get out for free with the 1-drop Broly or any of the other cards we're really running. We're playing some cards like that can do that. So We've got that. We were running 4 Vegeta the Cruel and 4 Champa. Maybe this is too many of these counterplays. I really wanted to run 4 Vegeta just to make sure we had enough green in this deck, but this is a really great card, and we can, like, since we can kind of pressure with our leader just all by ourselves if we need to, it's just really easy to swing and go for it. And we don't even have to play this on turn 2. Like, if, sometimes I feel like I need to keep 2 energy open all the time with these cards in my hand, but turn 2 we can kind of put down pressure ourselves, and then turn 3 just use like 1 energy or none. We should have enough stuff on the board to really pressure our opponents, and then if they try to play anything to get around it, we can play Champa or Vegeta, or even the 6-drop Broly, we can just combo them out during the combo phase, and then your opponent just feels bad about it. So maybe these can be lesser. I just wanted some green in this deck, but I think both these cards can really pressure our opponent, and so they don't want to really do anything while we're just knocking down the door with our leader and our big boy crit guys. So there's that. I think that's really the meat of this deck. We're running 1 Cold Bloodlust because we want to. We're running 3 Time Magic. We could probably run 4 if you want to. I just went down to 3. So Jocko's are super combo just because we're going to self-awaken a lot. 3 Kai. I think 3 is a good number just because we have a bunch of crits and a lot of things that this could be good for. So we really want to pressure our opponent. We might not, I think, and then 2 mirrors, of course, too. I think the only thing that might be a little bit lacking is we might be missing a bit of a win condition. We might not be able to push as hard as we want. So that could be something that could be added to this deck. But I think this is really good for like a mid-range kind of control kind of style for it. So cards that I thought about on the side here. So one, there's only one other yellow-green arrival card right now, and it's Krillin Android 18. This could be definitely in the deck instead of like Wailing Spirit. I wouldn't run more than 8 multicolor cards in this deck just because you don't want your hand clogged. But when you play this card, choose 1. Your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in their drop area, which is meh. But you can also choose a keyword skill on one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and negate skill for the duration of the turn. Or just that one. So it can remove like barrier in case we need to, which would be good for like using like Broly, making sure that something stays in rest mode, or we can do it with like just even if they have like a 1-drop barrier thing out, we can do this, and then we can play 1-drop Broly, KO it, and then we get surprise attack Frieza out and all that. So I think it's an okay effect. If you don't like Wailing Spirit, just put in this card. I think we need some multicolor cards just for our multi-counters and all that, but I thought Wailing Spirit was cooler, just being able to get either of these 4 drops out for on turn 2. So there is that. Bardock the Enlightened, we have a bunch of things that put things in rest, and we could go into more things, honestly, and so I thought this could have been a cool card. I wish there was a 1 energy card, just because I feel like 2 energy is just 1 too many. But that's an idea if you want to make this more of a rest mode card, deck, and you could put like Crusher Balls in it, and really high side heavy on the Champas, and maybe even like the the Mutaido, him as well. So that's an idea there. You can always do Path of Greatness, How to Mastery. That's super good, and even if like you just put in this deck, like it's looking a lot like my Chile deck with these guys as well, but you can just put them in there, and then I think like this deck is obviously, it has counterplays now, but it's still super strong. And even if you're running like, you can even run Victory Strike because it's green, and so there's like at least worst case you can just charge it if it's like dead in hand or something. So that's something there. I didn't want to make it because it's it's been in this Broly deck forever. So let's see, we have Swift Retaliation Cooler. If you really are afraid of like counterplays, you can do this. It's a pretty good card for that. We're running off yellow. We'll get to like 4 or 5 energy on average, so it's not too terrible to say that we play this. And if we have like a really wide board, we can just say, hey, we can swing with a big boy, and they try to negate it, and then you play Cooler, and then you can win the game. So that feels really good. Especially if you have like a double strike in hand. So this has potential. I think this should at least be in your side deck. Let's see what else. Broly Explosive Wrath. I think this should be in your side deck for sure if you're running if you're like in the 4-drop, 7-drop chain. So you use 2 yellow energy to evolve it on top of the 7-drop. Or you could play it hardcast for 5, but I don't think that will happen if there are 8 or more cards in rest mode between the 2 of you. But activate once per turn, choose 1 card for your hand, place in your drop area. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, choose 1 of your opponent's energy in rest mode and place it in your owner's drop area. So it's like the same thing as the 7-drop, but what you can do is that you can play the 7, or if you have the 7-drop, drop a card, make sure, stun one of their energy, and then play the 9-drop, and then just destroy another one of their cards. And it doesn't even have to be energy, but you can just like destroy one of their energy like that, and then that way, if they have like any untapped things, they have 2 less energy to untap with as well. So, and then they're going into their next turn with 2 less energy. So if they had 4 energy with 2 in rest, then you stun 1, you destroy 1, and then they're going into turn 5 with only 3 energy to use. So that seems good if your opponent is playing like a combo deck, especially if like obviously if your opponent's playing like Shenron Ramp and then you just play this Broly and then just ping their energy that they're using, they're going to be on a bit more of a timer and they're going to have to react to that. So I think this has a lot of potential to be a counterplay to Ramp Vegeta, Ramp Shenron, just being able to ping energy like that, and not having to go too deep for it. So and like you can once again start pinging their energy is like as soon as like turn 3 if you do it correctly. If you I guess it's probably going to be turn 4 because on turn you won't be self-awakened by turn 3, even if you're going second, because they're not going to attack you. But you can EX Evolve, get this out on turn 2, get the 7-drop out on turn 3, and then after that play this on turn 4. So maybe that's too slow, but there's an option there. And then I guess the joke one is Vegeta Master Temperament. This card can be really good. When you play this card and your leader card is yellow, if your opponent has 4 more energy and a combo card is in play in your battle area, choose up to 2 of your opponent's energy, switch in the rest mode, then the chosen cards can't be switched to active mode during your opponent's next charge phase. That's really dirty, just being able to tap 2 of your opponent's energy, and then this already has dual attack, so you can give it triple attack with your leader, being able to tap it. You do have to have a Kaba in the field, which I think is like the only rough thing about this, but you can just play like a 1-drop Kaba, then use your Broly effect on tap an energy, and then play the Vegeta. So it's not super hard to do that. Same thing with you can even use the 2-drop, and so you play the 2-drop in your opponent's turn when they swing, negate something, they leave the Kaba alone, and then just play the 4-drop. So I think that has potential there. Maybe it's a bit cheesy, but that's just an idea on the side there. I've been waiting for this card to make value, and it just hasn't yet. So. And then lastly, the 4-drop Arak. So it's a double strike. If your leader card is yellow at the end of battle, in which you combo this card from your hand, play this card. When you play this card, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and switch to rest mode. I think this card is better if you're playing against something that won't play very nice with the counterplay things. So just being able to get a 20k double strike for 2 energy out is fantastic. So I think this should be in your side deck. It has, it's a good idea for that. But yeah, I don't know really if it's what would I take out for it. Honestly, I am terrible at side decks. I'm going to be honest. So, but that's it. Let me know what you guys think about this. This was more last minute and not as planned as Gogeta one, but I decided I want to make it and really get what you guys are thinking about. I know there are tons of better archetypes and stuff for this Broly leader. I just want to make one that was kind of like an adjustment of what you guys were getting in these decks, and so maybe something to try right out the gate. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like the video and subscribe if you like me and you want to subscribe to me, and I'll catch you all next time.